Hello there, beautiful family. Gemma here. I hope that everyone is doing super well out there in the world, wherever you are. I wanted to jump in here today and share a little bit about one of my favorite topics, subjects, I guess you could say, and that is what we call our Apus. Our Apus. And these beings that I'm going to tell you about in a second, the reason that I'm so passionate about these amazing guardians, they are allies. They have assisted me throughout some of the toughest times in my life. And I can honestly say that I have managed to transverse some massive cataclysmic life experiences with so much more grace, with ease, and being able to receive the lessons that have come from these things and move into the next level, pop through these dark nights of the soul and challenges because of my communion, my connection with these powerful guardians and allies that we call the Apus. So who are the Apus? They are guardians of Pachamama. We may know them as mountains, or more specifically, the spirits of the mountains. The word Apu is a Quechua word, and it literally translates into chief or lord. So these beings originated in the Andean Cosmovision, and I know that many different traditions right across the planet have different legends about the mountains, but in the Andean Cosmovision, they were what was referred to as the Nyopa Machus. These were the eternal guardians or the eternal grandfathers of Pachamama. These were the original beings that roamed the earth. They were star elder beings, and they were profoundly wise, very almost very perfect, totally awake, 12th dimensional beings that roamed the earth at one point. And it was said that the Creator needed to make a change in their presence, I guess, or the reasoning for them being on Earth, because the whole thing about our planet of Pachamama is that she was a young planet who had her own process of awakening and of ascension to go through. And what she needed to go through that ascension and to go through that awakening were beings on the planet that were also moving through that process of ascension and that process of awakening that could assist and could help her, because it's actually through the contrast, it's through the kind of the complementary dualism that we actually shift and we change and we grow. So to have these remarkable, beautiful beings that were already divine in nature and perfect in nature, they weren't really doing the job that was necessary here to help Pachamama herself evolve. So her evolution, her awakening would have kind of been stunted in a way. And so the Creator decided, alongside these Nyopa Machus, that they would be forever the guardians of the planet and of the new species of being that were to come through, the Homo sapiens, the humans. And so these Nyopa Machus were petrified in stone, and they became the great mountains of the earth. So we're talking about mountains like in Peru, Apu Ausangate, Apu Salkantay, Apu Huascaran, which is the highest mountain in Peru, Apu Everest, Kilimanjaro, Fuji, Uluru, Wollumban, Mount Shasta, it goes on and on and on. And these guardians are responsible for many different things. One of them is as protectors of the earth. So if you can imagine, or if you were to look at where the Apus are placed on the earth from space, for example, you would see that they're in very specific geodesic points. Usually the mountains are made of crystal. They're usually quartz or felsite or some kind of crystal formation, and they are placed, or they appear, or they are situated on geodesic points and on ley lines across the earth that kind of create like a mandala or a network of energy, a grid line of energy around the earth that stabilizes the Earth's electromagnetic field. And it also, they kind of act like song lines as well, where they transmit and transport intelligence and information, which is why we say that the Apus are able to speak to each other. And I've had a very direct experience of that multiple times, where I have been in Bali and I have been going through something in Bali, and I have needed the help of Apu Agung, which is the chief volcano there in Bali, and I need Agung to speak to Apu Ausangate in Peru, either for permission for something or to gather more information about something. And I literally will pray to these mountains to speak to each other and have a conversation. And then in very real ways, it shows up to me like boom, 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 because I always ask to be shown in ways that I can't miss, in ways that are really clear, you know, with the guidance, whether it's through dreams, songs, you know, somebody randomly coming up and giving you the answer to something that you asked. It's amazing. You've got to just stay aware, keep your eyes and your heart and your ears open, and you'll see that the guidance will come in. So as guardians and protectors of Pachamama, they are also in charge of the elements, the earth, the air, the water, and the fire. And so Mother Earth, you know, we think of this, we hear this a lot, that Pachamama needs saving. And I can tell you right now, that's arrogant. To think that Mother Earth needs us to save her is pretty arrogant on our part. This is the most powerful being that exists in our solar system, in our cosmos. She only has to open an eye just a little bit. She only has to just give a wink or a nod or click her little earthly finger, and the Apus and the elements go into action to bring harmony to wherever on the earth there is disharmony. I'll give you an example of this. When after the pandemic in my hometown of Byron Bay in Australia, and Byron Bay is known as a very, very spiritual, conscious community. People are very awake there. They're in general very loving, very open-hearted. They don't, you know, you see multimillionaires and kind of hippies sort of all converging together, and there's not much separation between the two. And then this whole debate came after COVID about to be jabbed, to not be jabbed, and there was so much judgment and criticism going both ways from people that were meant to be super conscious and awake. They wouldn't go near or touch, or if they were massage therapists, they wouldn't treat, or if they were chiropractors, they wouldn't see people that had had the jab or that chose to wear a mask. And then the opposite was happening too, of course, where people that had had the jab, they wouldn't have anything to do with the weird hippies that wouldn't have the jab. And so there was all of this disharmony. I'd never seen anything like it. It was awful. It was like a war going on. You know, my mum even got a lady came up to her in a shop and asked her if she'd been jabbed, and my mum, because my mum's an elder and she decided to do that. That's her choice. And because she got kicked out of the store. You know, it was just crazy what was going on there. And I'm watching it from a distance thinking, this is just not, this is not okay. This is just weird. And the next thing, what happened is there were these massive floods like they had never seen before. And it didn't only take out the remote rural areas, it took out the inner towns, the communities, the villages where all of these people, many people that I know, even in the town centre of Mullumbimby, Byron Bay, Lismore, were all completely taken out, and people lost everything in these floods. But you know what happened? All of the people in the towns forgot all about who was jabbed and who was not jabbed, and they came together, they unified, they helped each other. Nobody was talking about, do you have the vax? No, did you? No, they got in there, they cleaned the houses, they helped people move into shelters, they gave them shelter in their own houses, and all of that stupid debate, whatever your opinions are around it, medical or otherwise, I don't care. For me, it's still all of the mind, because we can transcend anything. And all of that crap that was going on was instantly transcended through the power of the element of water. Now, Pachamama, she sees, she watches, she hears, she listens. Her Apus tell her, Apu Walumban, the major mountain of that area, they're talking, they're in communication. What's happening here? Something's out of whack, it's out of balance. We need to do something drastic now to bring these kids back into line, just like a parent would do for their children. And there you go, it brings everybody back into unification. Now in that area, nobody even talks about COVID. there's no talk of COVID. Nobody even remembers it. What they remember is the floods. What they remember is the unity. They remember how everybody came together and banded together to rebuild that community, you see? So we are not in control of this. She does not need saving. She can open up and swallow us whole in a second if she chooses to. So be humble. It's really, really important, I feel, that we remember this. So our Apus are always watching. They are watching, they are guarding, they are protecting, they are guiding, and they are controlling through their mountain ranges. They are speaking to and controlling the elemental forces of nature to do whatever needs to be done for whatever reason, whether it's to bring new life and abundance and fields and crops or cleansing, whether it's whatever it might be, it doesn't matter. It all has a purpose and a reason. And these beings are all interchangeable and working with each other on behalf of us because we are them and they are us. We are part of the one. So when we choose and decide to develop our communion with these beings, then we start to realize we can hear them, we can work with them, we can move with them, and very powerful shamans that we call Altumasayoks can move the mountains. They can move the energies. They talk directly. Altumasayoks talk directly to the Apus. They have conversations with them. They receive very, very clear guidance, protection, support, abundance, clarity, wisdom, healing, powers that they can use in their healing service. So they're very, very powerful beings. And we have kind of different hierarchies, if you like, of our Apus, of our mountain spirits. We have what we call planetary Apus. These are like the ones of Everest, Kilimanjaro, Ausangate, Salkantay, Fuji, Shasta, the ones that I mentioned before, Uluru. These are the big guns. What makes an Apu a planetary Apu is that it has its own range of mountains. So it's not just a singular mountain. A singular mountain we call a regional Apu. A regional Apu is when there's a mountain in an area that's just standing by itself, and it's very well known usually to the people, the indigenous people, the native people of that area, and it has a very specific quality, but it doesn't have a whole entire range of beings that it works with. When a planetary Apu kicks in and goes into play, it doesn't do it on its own. It engages that entire team of beings, of other Apus that it has under its wing. It's kind of like its divine arsenal. And they all go into play in what we call Minka. Minka is the word for community. It's a community effort by these Apus. And then you have your local Apus as well, which, as I said, are the smaller mounds and hills that are very local to the area. But really anywhere where we see a mound or a hill like the Tor in Glastonbury are considered Apus because they have a spirit. And here I am, as I'm recording this, I'm in the Andes in Peru, and I'm looking right at a major Apu behind me, and I can see two wakas, two tombs on the top of this Apu. And the ancient people used to build their ceremonial centers on the top of these mountains to be as close as they possibly could to the divine, because these ancestors are considered to be star beings. They're considered to be a part of the original white brotherhood. When I say that, I don't mean, I'm not talking about the colour of the skin, I'm talking about the stars. So the Apus, and what makes them so fabulous and wonderful and incredible to commune with, is that they each have their own personality. They're very, very unique in their personality. It's kind of like in the Hindu religions, like in India, how you have all of the different aspects of God and Krishna, and how they have all of these different deities. It's the one, but they're all the different aspects. Well, the Apus are kind of like that too. So when we pray with an Apu, when we commune with an Apu, when we talk with an Apu, when we decide to take an Apu on as our guardian and as our ally, as our security guard, as I like to call them, then we are speaking with the Apu and learning about its essence, learning about its gifts, learning about what it loves to do, what it brings forth. So there's Apus that help us, like Salkantay, we call him Dr. Sito. He's a doctor, he's a healer, he's a medical. He will go in and he can show you in the physical body what needs healing. He is also a major protected mountain, huge protector, gives you enormous courage, enormous strength and fearlessness. And the message from Salkantay to me when I was first initiated by that mountain is know who you are. Know yourself, because when you know yourself, it is very hard to be thrown off your center. Then here in the Andes, I have Ausangate. Ausangate is the embodiment of munai, of unconditional love. This mountain exudes love and abundance and joy and celebration. And you can even see it in his fields around him. You know, everything is lush and green and rolling hills and alpacas and crystal streams and springs and, you know, crystals in the ground. And it's just the most phenomenally beautiful, abundant and joyful landscape. But he's also very strong. He's like, are you on your path? And he will tip you up. His message to me was empty yourself of everything you think you know so that the real truth can be revealed. Be like an empty medicine cup. You have to constantly be emptying ourselves out of the ideas, the concepts, the beliefs, the things that hold us back so we can be filled again. So Apu Ausangate, he leads through love, and that love can sometimes be tough love. He's like a godfather. And then we have, anyway, there's so many, I can tell you all about my Apus, but I'm just I'll stop there because that's probably, you get the idea, right? So they are usually referred to as masculine energies, divine masculine energies. They don't have to be, especially now in this time where everything's kind of pretty fluid, but traditionally they're masculine energies because Pachamama, the earth, is the feminine energy. And these guardians, they arise from Pachamama. And this is to embody, when we commune with them, we imbue and embody the qualities of that mountain. So with Apus Salkantay that I was talking to you about as being this pillar of courage and strength, this healer and this being that's really in the center and in our center and knows who we are. It's like, you can imagine, you know, the base of the Apu, it's like a pyramid. It's anchored deep into the earth. It is one with the earth. And then it rises from the earth into this powerful summit. The planetary Apus are usually glaciers as well. So they wear these white ponchos. They're very pure and divine. And this summit reaches to the Hanakpacha, to the upper worlds, to divinity, to the stars, and connects often to a Nusta, which is a priestess or a princess. It's a feminine counterpart. I'll do another video on that at another time. So often we refer to the Apus themselves, the mountains, as being a masculine presence, but sometimes they are feminine. And usually with volcanoes are often a feminine Apu that we also call a Nusta. They're more of a feminine presence. But again, if they show up to you as a masculine presence, they're a masculine presence. There are no protocols. There are no right or wrongs. It's really about your connection. As Papakai, the grandfather of the lineage I was apprenticed in and trained in, Maestro Puma's grandfather, used to say, we need to take our hearts, our minds back before the first protocol, because the protocols that we know now were created through fear, right? When colonists came in, conquistadors came in, and they started demonizing all of the ways of the pagan religions, you know, which is the earth-based religions, which is the traditions that all of these beautiful native and indigenous people carried, and they started to demonize them and persecute the people for them. Then they had to gather these traditions and these wisdoms and take them deep into the mountains or deep into the deserts, and then kind of like codes to crack the safe, rituals were put into place, and these protocols became very, very strict and very tight, but it happened through fear. But before that, there weren't protocols. Before that, it was about the man or the woman sitting with the Apu and just communing, just listening, just speaking, just receiving the wisdom and then doing whatever the guidance was, right? And this is practice, you know, this is something that we need to train ourselves into, to remember, not to learn. You're not learning anything new. This is within you. It's in yourselves. It's in your DNA, no matter what your sorry about that, what your human skin bag looks like. It is in your original blueprint, in your divinity, because you are from the stars. You are a being from the stars. We all are, no matter what race, color, or creed you are. We all come from the same divine origin, so we all have the same memory. We are all a part of these remarkable beings that are ambassadors of Source. They are ambassadors of the One. So why do we even call on these guardians if there is only one? Well, first and foremost, in the Andean Cosmovision, we believe that the Apus sit on each one of the portals, the gateways of the sacred directions, and they guard the energies arriving to us in the center. Because wherever we are on this earth and whatever we're doing, we are always inside this kind of medicine wheel of north, south, east, and west. And these energies are always arriving to us. In the Andean Cosmovision, we call it the Chicana, right? So we're in the center and these energies are arriving in. And so we want to make sure that the energies that are arriving in are of the highest frequency possible. I won't go into it now, but each direction has a different energy associated to it, right? So these Apus stand like security guards and they watch our processes. They watch what kind of energy is arriving to us. They protect us from heavy energies, from jealous energies, from anything that may be coming in that doesn't serve us. And they also filter what leaves us so that it can be of the highest frequency. So they're very, 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 very powerful, very beautiful, very kind, very loving, and they want us to receive. They really want us to thrive. They want us to have everything that we could possibly have to be in our highest possible service. So all we need to do is ask, and they love to be spoken to. They love for you to share some food with them, or your cup of cacao, or your coffee even, or, make an offering. The Apus love that. They love personal communion and communication. And so why do we call our Apus by name? Like I say, Hampui Apu Ausangate, Hampui Apu Salkantay. Please come, Apu Ausangate. Show me how to be more in love. Guide my heart, guide my path. He's in the east for me. So it's like open this path of love for me, this abundance, this joy, this vitality. Come Apu Ausangate. So why do we call on individual Apus if at the end of the day there really is only one source of light, one source of consciousness? It's because all of these beautiful beings, just like us, have their individual gifts. They have their individual personality traits and qualities, just like us. We are a part of the One. We are unified as one. We are all fractals of that one divine spark, but we all have a specific role to play. And that's why our Apus are here with their particular frequency and energy to assist us on our life path, no matter what it is we need. And I can promise you, developing your relationship with your Apus, with your mountains, will absolutely change your life. Here in the Andes, as I'm recording this, there is a festival called Poyoliti, and this festival is the return of the Pleiades constellation to the night sky, and it is also a celebration of Apu Ausangate, of the chief of Cusco. And so in a mountain range close to Ausangate, because Ausangate is too sacred to do on the mountain, they pilgrim from all over Peru and all over the Andes to this glacier called Poyoliti, which is in the Colquepuncu ranges. And 100,000, 150,000 people for 3 days and 3 nights just sing, dance, and celebrate without stopping. I've been to this festival. It's like nothing you have ever seen or could ever imagine. It is exquisitely beautiful, but this is all in celebration of our Apu, of our Apu Ausangate, of this whole mountain range, and of the connection between our earth, our Apus, and our divine origins, which in the Andes is the Pleiades, is the portal that we came through, the Seven Sisters. More about that in another time. But these guardians are so powerful. So my recommendation is commune with them, call them in as your gatekeepers. Have at least one. If you can, have 4, because then you've got them on each one of the sacred directions, and feel their energy, get to know them, speak to them a lot, and over time, in your way, whether it's visually, through the sense of sound, through the feeling in your body, or just through a sense of knowing, you will start to receive messages and guidance back from them as well. And to help you with that process, you can check out the meditation that I recorded for you called Meet Your Mountain, which is a beautiful, very blissful, joyful, and simple way to begin and deepen that communion that you have with your sacred guardians that we know as our Apus. So enjoy that process, and I'll see you on the next video, and bye for now.